So NPV versus IRR. And NPV and IRR generally usually give the same decision, but not always. Exceptions, if you have unconventional cash flow signs change more than once. So if you think about it in the real world, you're pretty much guaranteed. The very few projects that don't have, like, say, multiple negative cash flows. Um, there's some disposal cost associated with a project, or if it's of any size, the build-up period or construction period is probably likely to be more than a year as well. Mutually exclusive projects, initial investments can be substantially different. The timing of cash flow is substantially different. So, um, next, we're going to talk about the profitability index. So the profitability index is simply the present value of the cash flow after the initial investment, and then we divide it by the initial investment. Again, if you're doing this, you may as well calculate the net present value. No, but the minimum acceptance criteria is you accept if profitability index is greater than 1. The ranking criteria, select the alternative with the highest profitability index. So, the disadvantages, you can have problems with mutually exclusive investments. The scale can also be an issue. You could have a large project and a small project, and the small project could create a very large profitability index, so forth. Advantages can be useful when available funds are limited. It's easy to understand, communicate. It always gives the correct decision when evaluating independent projects, but not necessarily mutually exclusive projects. So capital budgeting. So, or the practice of capital budgeting can vary by industries. Some firms use payback periods, while others use alternative approaches. The most frequently used techniques are IRR or NPV, probably IRR more so. The so example of investment rules. So compute the IRR, NPV, and profitability index for the following projects. So okay, so I recreated the cash flows from the slides. So the first thing we'll do is we'll calculate IRR. So it equals IRR. Plus works as well. So, and then I'm going to highlight all these cells, and then just go down to the bottom and then close it up with parentheses. And so the IRR of this project is 0%. This one was, if you recall, this is one with a 0 and 100. What Excel seems to do is publish or solves for the one that's like the most reasonable. Because the other alternative was 100%. I can drag this across over here, and I get 36.19% for the IRR here. So it's just, we look at it, I edit here, I can actually delete this plus, and it's unnecessary in the formula. So basically it's just equal IRR. If I wanted to, I could plug in a guess here. So if you click over here, you get the f of x, it shows the guess. You just put a comma in there. What the guess does is it can make it easier for the computer to solve. So, but at this, with the problems we'll be working on, that should not be an issue. So NPV, we do equals NPV, and then we highlight the cash flows after the initial cash flow and close it up, and then we add the initial cost, which is a negative. So, okay, so I forgot to, and now the required rate of return, so that's 0.10, comma, so that, there we go, that should work. So $41.92 at a 10%, uh, 10% required rate of return, and this one $90.80. So again, all I did was when I go down to this bottom right corner and I get this cross, I can drag a formula across as far as I want to, actually. So the profitability index. So what we're going to do here is we'll do equals NPV, and then we'll highlight everything just like we did before. I need to do at 0.1, so 0.10, comma, and that, and then I'm going to divide that by the initial investment. I want that to be a positive. I don't want I'll just do a negative and that'll make it a positive, and then that gives me a profitability index of, let's do this, we hit comma, that'll make it 2 decimal places, 1.21, and again I can drag this across and 1.61, which makes sense because we have a lot higher net net present value. So if we're we'll talk about this as we walk. We'll switch back to the slides to finish up this discussion in the next lecture.